direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live. And now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
Oh my God, we're back. Hey guys, welcome to Billy Masters. I'm already drunk. It's been a while. I am sorry to say that our little summer hiatus extended far longer than I planned. Oh, thank you, Monica. Today is Thursday, October 21st. I wish I could tell you when our last show was. Oh, I think I actually can. Our last show, we ended Pride Month. So it was June 29th. Nana's old. Hold on a second. 29th with Eric Nees and Norm Corpy from The Real World. And we thought, we'll take July off. I'm going to Provincetown. I'm traveling. I'm having sex. I'm really busy. And I thought to myself, we'll just take a little bit of time off. Here we are at the end of October. So what happened was we were coming back in September. And then I got an opportunity to go overseas, which was kind of scary, and I wasn't sure I was even going to go. But I did end up going, and I did not get locked out of a country, although it was very touch and go for a while. I thought I was going to sleep in an airport. But everything worked out fine. I came back at the beginning of October, and I thought to myself I was going to start then. And then I thought, Naked Boys Singing was starting in Las Vegas. And I've been saying to people, I think I'll go. I have a very long history with Naked Boys Singing. If you look below, if you're watching on YouTube, look below, there is a link to a show from our first season where we talked to the creators, composer, choreographer, some of the original cast of Naked Boys Singing. It's long. It's 2 hours long, but it's a really great show. And it's a show I have a lot of connections with. I was there from the beginning. So I wanted to go to Vegas and see this show. Plus, two people, one person who I know very well, David Hernandez, was going to be in the show. Matthew, we had met a couple of times that neither of us really remember any details. Chris, I was in a room with Alan Braca at least twice. I think he was naked at the time. The others I didn't know. And so I thought, I'll just go to Vegas and see the show. So I'm so glad I did. But before we start this show, I want to start with a clip from that last show. And this is Bob Schrock, who is the artistic director of the Celebration Theater, who put Naked Boys Singing in the first place. So we're going to just show this clip so that you know what the show's about and how it even got started. Take a look.
I'd seen an article on the cover of the calendar section of the LA Times about Gordon Davidson, the artistic director of the Mark Hafer Forum,
Sure.
needed a cash cow. And there was this big picture of a cow on the front page. And I thought, this is exactly what I need too, is a cash cow. And so I just thought, now what's my audience? What they like, of course, is musicals. So that's
and nudity.
And then the box office would keep telling me that anybody who would call for any show, the first question the audience member would ask is there nudity? So put them together, a musical about nudity.
And really, it is that simple. That is how Naked Boys Singing was created. It saved the Celebration Theater for quite some time. And the producer of the Las Vegas run has a long history with it. So I want to just bring him on. Tom Dangora, where are you? There you are. Hey, Tom.
Hello.
Who, ironically enough, lived down the street from where I grew up, went to school in a neighboring city, a city that we don't like very much, although the big rivalry between Medford and Malden. So, God, you were living in were you living in Medford when you went to MC?
Yes, I was.
All right. Well, I want to know. I remember, because we were texting last night, I remember you getting involved with this show in Provincetown, which For those of you who don't know, the show was originally 9 people, 2 acts, and then it was cut down so that it could have flexibility to play in cabarets, bars, etc., that had smaller windows. And it came down to, I believe, the P-Town cast though was 6.
We were 6.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were in it. Which track did you have?
I did the Robert Mitchum track, which isn't in the Vegas production.
No, I know. It's a good number, but again, you got to know what to cut.
But 20 years later, I don't think many people get the reference.
Right. Well, you know.
It was pushing the reference.
Even then, right? So how did you get involved with Naked Boy Singing?
I auditioned. I actually
Locally in P-Town?
No, in New York. And I actually lived on Cape Cod for the last 4 years that I lived in Massachusetts. And I had just moved to New York, basically, and thought it was so funny that one of my first big jobs was taking me back to the Cape. But, the amazing Larry Baker called me. They were looking for someone that was funny, and he called, and I thought someone was pranking me. So he said, "Oh, my name's Larry. I'm stage managing the Provincetown production of Naked Boy Singing."
He was also involved in the original production with Bob and everyone else.
Yep, and he was Stephen Bates' partner.
Correct.
Who's the original
Who's one of the original and producer of the original cast album with Mark Winkler.
Yes, he produced the cast album, and he wrote the amazing opening number, Gratuitous Nudity, and he wrote Members Only. And
wow.
And he wrote a beautiful song called Chris, Look What You Missed. That
with Schrock, right.
Yeah.
That I always thought was about a dog.
Well, that's lovely.
Because it's the line with the rovers on the moon. I'm like,
yeah, well, that was on the album. This is where we're going deep into the obscurity of the show, but it was replaced to The Whole World's Online.
Oh, thank God. Because I do remember going up to Schrock and saying, I don't really like that song about the dog. And he thought I was insane. Yeah. And he's like, well, that was a beautiful song about my dead lover. And I'm like,
what are they talking about? There was a lyric in the song where it's a man is singing to his partner who he had lost to AIDS, and he's telling him everything he has missed since he's passed away. And at the time, I believe someone put a dog on Mars.
No, it was a robot, but they called it Rover.
Rover, okay.
It wasn't a real dog.
But like a robot dog.
If it had been a real dog, then my stupid question would have made sense. But anyway, okay, so you auditioned and you get the show.
I got it. They signed me on.
And you're just another cast member.
Well, sure. I was, and I was 22. I had the best summer of my life. And I really hit it off with especially Steven and our producer, Adam Weinstock at the time.
Who I love.
And then,
hi, Adam, if you're watching.
Hi, Adam. And then Adam and I became really, really good friends. And in 2007, we co-produced the Provincetown production together.
Where was that second production? Was that the Union? That was at the Crown.
Yep, and Bob directed that as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then in 2009 was the first production that I produced, and me and my husband directed, Michael.
Okay. And where was that?
That was also Provincetown. Now we moved to the post office. Wow.
I know the post office.
What gossip?
That's when you start cutting cast members.
No, it was still 6, but it was a tight 6.
Yeah.
But once I saw the size of the stage we were at in Vegas, I said, okay, this is a 5-person show.
I was going to ask you about that because I was in the pictures on your website, which, by the way, we should just put up the website, which is, where the fuck is it? There it is, nakedboysingingvegas.com. You'll see 6 people.
Yes,
one of the people is the swing.
Yes, Jaden, who's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't meet Jaden, I don't believe. He wasn't there when I was there. Sorry, Jaden. You didn't make the cut. But anyway, okay, so you then, though, didn't you produce the run in New York?
I have since 2012. I took over the New York production in 2012. It actually technically closed for 3 weeks, I think, or 4 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and then came back with a limited schedule.
No, Billy, we actually upped it. It was playing 2 at a time at New World Stages when it closed. And then we brought it back to Theater Row Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 shows a week. climbing back up. And
by the way, we just got a shout out from an original cast member. Hey guys, from Brian Beacock. Brian, you're going to be on this in a bit, so you'll see yourself. Continue.
Yeah, and then we ran until the pandemic.
Are you planning on reopening?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Doesn't it have a distinction of being like the longest off-Broadway
It's the fourth longest running musical review in history.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, has it ever played Vegas before?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes, it did. I believe in 2009, 2010.
Where?
At I don't
a defunct theater company.
Yeah, ask them like I don't know where exactly it was. Marcus, who's a Vegas local, will probably be able to tell you. But yes.
And I love the space you're in now because the Erotic Heritage Museum, for people who don't know, it is pretty world famous. It's got a lot of memorabilia. I remember Tempest Storm just before she died. That was one of the last places she was. And it's a really kitschy place. Also, across the parking lot is a sex club. So if you're in the neighborhood, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But yeah, if you go out and behind, there's a doorway. We'll talk about it.
I was unaware.
Oh, well, you're married. People married don't know.
I still want to know. I still want to know the lay of the land.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can give out flyers. Give them flyers. Make a little deal.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about it later. Now, I have to ask, the elephant in the room is that when the show was announced, it was announced not necessarily as a vehicle, but it was announced as starring Aaron Carter, who has dipped his toe into the porn gay-ish venues. Yeah. So, first off, who approached whom?
Well, you know.
And by the way, I should say you wrote a really great press release when it all blew up, saying we are embarrassed, we are sorry, we should have known better. And I thought that was so refreshing because producers would always say, "We've decided to do this, and it didn't work out. We all wish each other well," and then they move on.
Yeah. Look, you know, I knew of him years ago. He did Fantastics, and one of my very good friends was a producer of that. And
I'd forgotten that, yeah.
He worked well with her, you know, and he even did Seussical on Broadway when he was a kid. And he came to see Musical a few times, and he was really nice. And so I didn't quite understand the depth of what has gone on, you know, and we announced it. It all happened very quickly.
Was he very amenable to it?
He was lovely when I spoke. The few times we spoke.
Did he understand what the show was?
He absolutely did. He absolutely did. He was very sweet, very, you know, oh, Tom, I'm going to do such a good job. I promise, you know.
Which track was he going to do? Was it David's track?
Well, no, because the tracks are always kind of built around the person. But I mean, in theory,
I don't see him doing the entertainer.
I don't know. I think we were going to just see what would fit best, and we were to figure something out. And
he might have been able to handle Briss, maybe.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. It all fell apart so quickly. The second.
So how did it fall apart?
Well, look, I was, you know, as you can, you know, from the press release, I was just saying, hey, it didn't work out. But it basically, he said it himself on his many Instagram lives. It started to fall apart when I said, you know, I need my cast members to be vaxxed. That's the first thing. So can you send me proof of vaccination? And it all unraveled from there. Luckily it did, because I also was very unaware of really
everything,
what was how deep it was until, you know, that all started happening. Because I don't really watch Instagram lives, you know,
right?
And that's where that's where the real show is. So.
Did you end up finding out like how bad it was via Instagram Live, or had it already fallen apart and then you saw?
Yeah, it was that, because he was talking about me. I get, and people.
Oh, really?
Saying,
see, I didn't watch any of this.
He said this. I mean, bless his heart. I wish him well, and whatever he's going through, you know, we all have demons, and
I don't think that anybody thought that if he had started, he would have finished a run. Nobody thought it would end quite as quick as it did.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily, the way it worked out was great because it led us to David and Chris and
was everybody? Yeah, who was cast at that point?
At that point, just Marcus and Matthew.
Oh wow! Okay.
Matthew had done the show twice before in Provincetown and Palm Springs.
I have no recollection of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matthew was Provincetown 09, and when we did Palm Springs, I think 2013 that was. Okay. And Marcus I met in Vegas the week we announced Aaron. And then luckily it was.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It was there was. It's always really a great thing when there is global press before someone.
And you certainly got a ton of press because of that. So I mean, better or worse, people were talking about it, and people knew there was a production going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all led to where it is, and the show is great. The cast is great. Everyone's having a wonderful time. It's the true Naked Boys experience. The cast is super bonded.
And I also think it's always better when you have at least one or two veterans anchoring the cast, because it does make everyone else a little bit more comfortable that, oh, somebody knows this.
Yeah. And we had such a short rehearsal time. Yeah. It was all put together so quickly. So it's just so exciting how great it came out. The audiences, the response has been incredible. I mean, again, I've been doing the show for 20 years. And this is one of the real special ones, I think. I mean, I've sat in the Naked Boys audience, my God, probably 1,000 times at this point, and been on stage for 150 performances. And, the audiences are really responding to this. The venue is so perfect for the show.
Oh, what a great place.
Great
there. Are your Naked Boys days over in terms of performing?
Me? Yeah. Oh, honey, that costume hasn't fit in years. No, I never went back. I loved it.
When was the last time you did it?
Naked?
Yeah. Naked.
I did it in 01, September 9th, 2000.
Oh, so it is 20 years ago was the last time you did it. Oh, all right. Well, because you look good. I mean, I can't see from the neck down. From the nipples up, you're good. I don't know.
Yeah, I like to keep my hair up now. I always said, like, I'd step out and do Robert Mitchum again because that's clothed.
Yeah, that was the only clothed number.
But if you can steal the show when you're fully clothed,
that is saying something. I
mean, I don't know what it says when they cheer louder when you're clothed during a naked show.
Take the win.
Oh yeah, I did. But yeah, and it's really it's so much fun to do, and you can really tell how much fun the cast is having. You can see how much they love it. I'm loving the show. I've been back. We opened September 22nd. I live in New York, and this is already my second trip back.
Wow.
Yeah, I surprised them last night. They didn't. I watched quietly. I snuck in.
Tom, I'm going to put you backstage. I want to talk to each of the guys alone for like 5 minutes. Then we'll all talk together.
Yay. Uh-oh.
Okay, I do see Louis. I see you back there. Thank you. Oh my God, we're gonna end up with the whole cast. We weren't planning on this. I love it. But our first cast member that we're going to be joined by is Marcus Terell. Marcus, hey.
Hey, how are you?
Marcus, don't I remember you originally from America's Got Talent?
Yeah, I was on America's Got Talent.
Or was it from that sex club across the parking lot? I don't remember.
That was more recent. Yeah, I understand. I sang at both. So, yeah, I was on America's Got Talent in 2009, actually, with a group called Marcus Terell and the Serenades.
Right. And so you come to this really as a singer, as a real legit singer.
That is correct. Hopefully.
Had you done like a play? I mean, not that there's really a play. It's really almost like a semi-staged concert, but there is a lot of choreography in this. I mean, had you done anything like this before?
Yeah, actually, I've done quite a bit of musical theater. I've done Hairspray countless times. I did cruise ship performing. I'm actually a headliner and guest entertainer on cruise ships currently.
Crystal.
So I'm used to production. I've worked for Crystal, but I travel with my own show. So I've done Crystal, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, Cunard, Holland America, Princess. Atlantis.
Jeez, you're everywhere. And there's great videos of you online. People go to YouTube. He's got great videos.
Yes,
so how did you get involved in this production?
Well, it's funny because Tom is co-producing the show with a young man named Nick Patchett, who is from Kansas City, Missouri, which is actually where I was born and raised. Not born. I was born in Omaha, but raised in Kansas City, Missouri. And Nick and I did a production of Cabaret together at Union Station in Kansas City, Missouri, probably about 10 years ago. And he gave me a call and told me that they were producing Naked Boy Singing here in Vegas. He put me in contact with Tom. We met up at the Venetian, I believe it was, had lunch, and he offered me the position over cocktails. It was great.
And how is it, you also had to relocate. So how is it living in Vegas?
Well, I'm actually a Vegas local. I've been here for 4 years.
Oh.
Yes, I did not relocate.
You were already there.
Yeah, I was already here.
That's an easy transition.
Yeah, perfect. It's perfect.
But how is it okay being on stage naked?
It's actually so much fun. It's funny because like when I started to tell a lot of my family members and friends that I was going to be doing this show, a lot of them were like, oh, okay, it makes sense for you, because I feel like I'm that voyeur that's pretty much almost naked all the time. So for everybody else, it was just kind of like a natural progression. So for me, it just feels really natural and really liberating, and I'm having a great time on stage.
There's a question that I always ask people who are in a show like this, is that you love your songs, but is there a song in the show that you covet that you're like, oh, if he breaks his leg, I could.
If he breaks his leg, who's
and I know what one I would
break?
Think you'd want. Well, forget the leg, but which song do you want?
I feel like I don't want to go with the obvious choice, but I feel like it's the obvious choice.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm
sorry, David. Sorry, we got to break your leg.
It is.
So yeah, I think it's
the song.
Yeah, The Entertainer is probably one of the. It's a great moment. But actually, my favorite song in the show to perform actually is "Fight the Urge," the trio where we're all trying to fight our erections. It's so much fun to do, and I love the comical aspect of it. And I love the harmonies and the choreography. So it's actually my favorite number in the show.
And I had a clip which I cut, but the original cast also agreed that it was for the harmonies and the lyrics. There's
something about that song. It's like a perfect musical theater song, because it has all that lyrical content in it, but it also has a pop vibe to it, so it's really catchy and it's really easy to remember. So it's actually probably my favorite one to do.
Beacock, if you're watching, he was Brian Beacock, who was the original Briss. Brian, I think you were Bliss of the Briss. Yes. Oh, see, he just wrote. So yes, he wrote. Yes, harmony. So
yes,
I just remember every cast member has said that. So it's nice to hear that it still has that appeal. Marcus, I'm going to put you backstage. Oh wait. Okay. Yes, he was the Naked Maid. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, Fizz.
Marcus, I'm going to put you backstage. We're going to go on to the next one. Then you'll be back.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Okay. Oh my God. Well, since I wasn't expecting Louis to be here, Louis D'Aprile, how are you, Louis?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming. He was at a Pilates class.
Yes, I teach hot Pilates and boot camp and all sorts of things. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I got out of class early. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So I didn't do any research about you. So the only thing I know about you is when Hernandez introduced us before the show. So he's like the king of Vegas. He knows everybody. So are you a local?
I am a Vegas local. Actually, yesterday was my 5-year anniversary living here in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I love it here. It is my town. I do miss New York, and I think that might be my next transition back, because I am born and raised on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, thankfully.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing musical theater my entire life. So it actually was a fluke that I moved out here, because I came out here.
What did move you out there?
Yeah, I was here to do Rock of Ages at the Rio. I was auditioning, and then the show ended up closing. So I ended up moving on into Tony and Tina's Wedding at Bally's. And from there, I went into headlining Sex Tips for Straight Women from a Gay Man over at Paris.
Sure, I had friends involved in that too. What I love about you on stage is, and you'll see in the video that we're going to run later, you have such exuberance that is like practically exploding out of you. You've got this great smile. You've got this great energy that, and you do, because you have a baby face. You look like a little kid. You don't look like a little kid in the naked area, but you look like a little kid, like you're just so happy to be performing. Is that who you are?
Yeah, 100%. I've always been a very happy person. And I love what I do, and not many people get to have the opportunity to love what they do. So I take every day as a blessing and as a gift, even on my worst days. So the bigger I am, the more happy I know I'm making myself and making everybody around me.
And you are the current Naked Maid, correct?
The current Naked Maid, yes, I am.
With that feather duster, yes. And you, well, again, what's interesting, because again, I've seen so many people do these roles, is what you bring to it is that exuberance. Like Brian was a very different Naked Maid. He was sort of, I'm doing this and it's a job and I'm a little like sexy about it. But you were like a kid. Like, you know, if you say to a kid naked, they like giggle. Like that's how you were.
I still giggle.
Is it a song that you like doing?
As soon as I found out that the show was coming, I was looking for the auditions, and I've always wanted to be a part of it, and I've always wanted to be the maid. So yeah, this was actually kind of almost in my list of roles I would love to play. Like I wouldn't say a dream role, because I believe we can make all of our dreams a reality if we try hard enough, and so be it.
And is there a song that you covet?
Ooh, let me think. Well, I already kind of have part of Marcus's, and I do love Window. I would actually have to say, Chris, I'm going to push you down some stairs, because I'm going to have to take your little porn star.
The two Pevsner songs, David Pevsner is, if he's watching, who wrote those songs. They're both great songs. I mean, there's not a song in the bunch that I hate.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're all
really great show.
It's very well written, and it's so much fun, and it's traveled through the ages. I mean, 20 years, the show is still thriving and going fantastic. So I'm honored to be a part of it.
Cool. I am going to bring Matthew and Chris, if you will come back to your seats. They went to get a little refreshment. Presumably, that's all they got. Louis, I'll have you backstage, but we'll be back on in a few minutes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we get a twofer, which of course is always exciting. You know, it's really my favorite kind of way to go. We got Matthew Ludwinski, I believe, if I'm saying it correctly. Matthew, could you nod? Okay, there you go. There's the forehead. And of course, Chris Salvatore coming to us. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Now I can do something. I can do something better. There you go.
Yay.
There you go. Guys, thank you for being on the show. Are you staying together?
Yes, it's me, Matthew, and Jaden, our dance captain and understudy.
Oh, okay, great.
Three of us.
So you're the out of towners, in addition to, of course, David, I know, is out of town. So first, I have to start with Matthew, please, because people may know Matthew from going down in La La Land, but actually people may not know you've collaborated with Caspar Andreas, our friend, 3 times.
Yes.
Matthew?
Yep.
3 really good movies, by the way. What are the other 2?
Kiss Me, Kill Me.
Yeah.
Gail Harold from Queer as Folk, and Between Love and Goodbye.
And Van Hanses, who Chris, didn't you work with Van in East Siders?
Yes. We didn't have Yes, we did. I don't know if we had like particular scenes together, but yeah, we were all in the same show.
But I
met through Alan Braca.
Yes.
From the Eating Out.
And I met through Alan Braca too 10 years ago when he was doing all of the festivals for Eating Out 4 and 5.
Yes.
It was the same time I was doing festivals for La La Land. So we've been acquainted for a bajillion years, but now we're roommates.
Oh, there you go. And also, I want to just tell people that Matthew did a really great short film that he wrote and produced. I don't think he directed it. Did you? Called The Good Way?
A friend of ours directed. Yeah.
Okay, but it's a really good short, and it's also filmed beautifully.
Thank you.
So people can find it. Is it on Amazon?
Spencer.
I think it's on Amazon. I'm not sure.
It's on YouTube, actually. It's on my.
Oh, is it?
No, yeah. Cool Kid Adjacent is the name of it.
Now, both of you both of you have prior experience with nudity, but on screen, not in person. Well, actually, it's not true. Matthew, now I know, is a naked boy singing veteran. But up until that point, I don't think you had been naked.
I had been, well, I was a model before, and so I had done a bit of nudity for, editorials and those gay coffee table books.
Yes.
So
Some very pretty pictures.
My penis was already all over the internet, but I never shook it in public,
So I'm curious, when you first got Naked Boy Singing way back when, how was it being on stage naked?
Well, I mean, on paper, it seemed to kind of fit my brand or whatever, because I was always a little wild. I did have those naked pictures, which 12 years ago that was less common for
very, yeah.
And it was more frowned upon. But I was like, fuck it, I'm the one who doesn't care. And so I did the show. But then when you're actually in the theater, it is really kind of weird. You're like, oh, this is not. Shaking your penis in front of strangers isn't something we do in this society, and I've never done that, and it is pretty weird. And it takes like a couple of days of before you start to, I don't know, feel like something is wrong.
Is there another society out there where shaking your penis in front of somebody is commonplace?
I'm not an anthropologist, but I'm not that.
But if you find it, please let me know, because I'd like to go there.
I'll have to look into
that. Chris, was this your first time being nude on stage?
Yes.
Because you were always nude in the Eating Out films.
Yeah, I was nude in Eating Out 3. Well, I had a full frontal scene. That was the only one that I had that kind of scene in.
Okay.
Yeah, this was
the only one I remember. So
this was my first time being nude on stage. Yeah, and quite the experience. But I always tell people always ask me, what is it like being nude on stage? And I was like, well, the first week was a little terrifying. I forgot most of my words, which is like people's nightmares. Forgetting their lyrics on stage nude,
it's doubly embarrassing to make a mistake in this show, because you have the vulnerability of singing and messing up, which all actors hate, and you're naked.
Yeah. But after that, I acclimated and I really found power through it and confidence. Really? Yeah. And I always tell everyone, and even the cast would talk about it, any other project after this, even any other audition after this, I feel like it is, I don't know, it's almost like you're not nervous anymore because, anything.
You've already done this.
We've already done this. So it's only up from here. If we're wearing clothes, it's hey, I was naked doing this. So it's I find a lot of confidence in my artistry from this show. So.
I was going to ask about singing. Now, Chris, you started out as a singer-songwriter.
I did.
So this is kind of full circle for you.
It is. It joined the singing, the acting, and then the nudity. So it's all
a triple threat.
Yes.
But Matthew, had you sung before Naked Boy Singing?
Not in a professional show. I studied music theater in college, but before I finished college, I knew I didn't want to do music theater. I actually met Tom, and I'd never auditioned for a musical ever, but I met Tom actually at the locker room at Gold's Gym.
Of course you did.
They had already cast the show except for one more part, and he was just looking for anyone. So he was asking everyone, I think, did you sing? Did you sing? And I was a little. And then I got the show part. And it was magical.
Since this is I guess your third or fourth production of it, have you always done the same role? Have you done the same songs all the time?
Yes, I've always done the same song. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask you the same question I asked the others. Is there a song you would like to do?
I like a number of the songs, but the only one when I've thought about what else would I do? It would be Perky Pornstar. That's the only one I think would be right for me. But I like the personality of that one, and I actually think you would make a really good man baby for Briss.
If I had to answer the same question, I would say
I want to see him like we get the binky or look really cute with your beard.
Yeah. I love that. I love that scene. And I love playing the mother in that scene, but it would be really fun to play your part.
See, there you go. Some night, maybe you'll just swap off and sing.
We actually talked about this with Jade.
Don't worry, Tom, we're not going to.
With our dance captain, Jade, and we were like, okay, what if one night we just don't tell anyone if we switch parts? And Jaden was like, that's like a big
no. Like, you don't do that. Yeah.
Well, the thing that's also interesting is that you're the two tallest in the show, but Chris, you're particularly tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'3". 6'3".
Yeah, you are a big one. I mean, I know it's a loaded thing to say with Naked Boy singing, but you're really tall because you also have people, again, you have all sizes. And I say this to everybody who ever goes to see Naked Boy singing, is that there is always something for everyone. There's different types, different heights, different ethnicities, body types, ages occasionally. So, you will very often find somebody you're attracted to. Although then when you look at the performances, you may be attracted to somebody else because of their talent.
Right. And David was telling me he's the entertainer, which but I'm just saying that for people watching. But he was telling me last night his friend came to see the show and was saying that each song had like something that they could relate to in the gay community as to what, the muscle addiction song about, body dysmorphia and being in the gym and being uncomfortable. And he was saying his friend basically connected to each song in a way that made him attracted to the performers or the songs because he related to them. And so I guess that means we're doing a good job portraying.
Well, every song is like a little mini play.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, in a good variety show, that's what it should be. And since we're talking about him, Hernandez, since we were talking about you, I thought I'd bring you on. Matthew, Chris, I will see you. I'm going to put you backstage for a few minutes. We'll bring you back. Hey, David, hold on.
Billy.
Hi, honey. You're the veteran of Billy Masters Live. How are you?
I am. I'm doing good. I've been up since 9. So, just seizing the day.
Can I say this? I don't know if I can say this. That David actually works. I mean, he does stuff during the day as well. You're so busy. You always keep yourself busy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my parents always kind of instilled that in me. I'm just a hard worker, and plus I get bored really easily. So I actually work for my friend's company, a prep company, during the day. So, I feel like I'm helping people to some extent.
And again, with our lifestyle, the fact that you can work from anywhere is great. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
how is it for you being in Vegas? And also, you have a partner who's back in Los Angeles.
I do. Yeah. Derek is back in LA. He actually arrives tonight, and he'll be coming to the show tomorrow along with my mom. Which will be interesting. But Vegas has been great. I've gotten the rhythm of it, and I'm starting to adjust to the dry weather. It's really difficult for singers because it's the desert and it's super, super dry. So I have like 4 humidifiers in my apartment. Chris bought a huge humidifier for our dressing room. Thank you, Chris. So it's been all of us kind of like had a little chest thing going on. It was not COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think we kind of all gave it to each other, but we persevered. We pushed through it. You wouldn't be able to tell with the way we were singing and stuff. So, so to answer your question, it's been an adjustment, but we're getting there.
Do you you kind of came into the cast, I don't want to say replacing Aaron Carter, but again, there was a slot, and if I know my Hernandez, he can fill a slot. So did you feel any pressure coming in under those circumstances, or was it at the beginning of the rehearsal period, so it didn't matter?
I think I would have felt pressure if there was big vocal shoes to fill. So no, I don't think. I mean, no shade to Aaron Carter.
How much I love you. I mean, it's me, so you can say whatever you want.
I don't know Aaron Carter, and I don't speak poorly of people that I don't know. But from what I can understand, he's not an extremely a gifted vocalist, so I didn't feel like there was pressure in that regard. And we're two very different.
You're not replacing
looks.
Streisand. Yeah.
Correct. Or Barry Manilow, as Tom would like to.
Or one of those
to talk about.
Joneses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be, if I was replacing like Nick Jonas, I'd be a little nervous. But honestly, I was more nervous about learning the material. We learned it in 9 days. So that felt like that was the most pressure that I felt. And also standing next to all the boys in the cast, they're gorgeous men and super talented. That definitely would, that was a moment. And I hadn't met anyone really. I had only met Chris briefly. We knew each other like via Facebook, but it's amazing because we live probably like a half a mile from each other, but we never saw each other. So,
wow.
So yeah, like I was just kind of nervous about like meeting all the boys and all that kind of stuff. But I was excited to jump into musical theater again.
Yeah, it's an intimate show. You do, and it is a company, so you really want to get along and have a good rapport with each other on stage and off.
Absolutely, and we do. Like I speak for myself, but I think they would agree that we all love each other and enjoy each other's company. We have drinks all the time and talk shit, and
I was
it's very much
to
like
meet
a
you
family.
guys out after the show I went to. I was supposed to meet you guys out, but I had other plans. I'm like, oh, they're all going out. So
yeah, we went out last night with Tom, and Tom treated us to some drinks, and we just kind of talked shop a little bit. Mostly talked about Barry Manilow, Tom, but yeah, we're really tight and we're cool. And I think as the show progresses, it's crazy because we're already almost halfway through, so it feels like, oh my god, wait, hold on, because it's just right now it's like second nature to us. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Have you hit that rhythm where it is like a smooth kind of, okay, time to do the show, and you just go and do it?
I would say yeah, but we always run a couple of numbers before each show, just because we don't want to get too loose with it. Jaden's really good about keeping it nice and tight, no pun intended. Just running through stuff with us, making sure lyrically we're on point. We have like a lift in the show. We don't ever want that to be a fail. So yeah, I would say that it's pretty fluid at this point, but we also want to be mindful that we don't get too lax on it. So yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And you and I, again, we go back so long to American Idol.
So long.
Where
I know, that's so crazy.
I mean, and it's so silly that we're going to talk about this, but just briefly, at the Idol time, it had come out that you had stripped, which, it was no big, again, It's so funny to think of it as a big deal because back then it was, but today it would probably make your career.
Oh, I always say that. It's always the people to do it first that don't get the recognition for it.
Well, again, look at Frenchie. Frenchie went through the same thing.
French did the same thing. I mean, I think T-Pain was the first to do like the auto-tuner thing, and then Kanye did it later, and he was like praised for it. I would say like nowadays, if you were to be a stripper and be gay on American Idol, you probably would win the damn show.
Right.
And I've said that for a long time, but I think I was a little bit ahead of the time per se. Like they weren't looking. I don't think Middle America really was too keen on having their American Idol be a gay former fully nude stripper.
Right.
Which, I mean, this was like 15 years ago, so it was a whole different climate.
Had you stripped fully nude back then?
Yeah.
Or just down to G? Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So then, it kind of negates my question, but what is it like being fully nude in this show? Is it the same? Is it different? Because you've also got choreography, singing, a cast.
This is way more artistic, and I think has a bigger payoff, like when I stripped back then, I also was like 21, 22 years old. I didn't give a shit about anything. I was very like, I'm just here to make my money. And I don't know that I would do that in that context anymore. I think, like when I was learning the music and everything, like I became more and more comfortable with being naked, and it's not doing it just for, I mean, I know there's a song called Gratuitous Nudity, but it's not the whole show isn't just gratuitous nudity. It's there is an artistic value to it. And I mean, I wouldn't be a stripper now, and no shame to people that would strip right now. I mean, I've done worse for less, but
although you did say, I think when you got this show, you said during the pandemic, if there had been a strip club someplace that you could have gone when you couldn't work, you might have considered it.
I say that, but I don't know that I would have done it, only because I'm like, I don't know. I know that I'm like a D-list celebrity, whatever, but people do know me, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to get away. I wouldn't be able to get away with that so much. Or I don't know. Maybe I would have gotten paid more. I don't really know.
I think you might have. I don't know. I would have paid you a little more.
Well, that's neither here nor there, Billy. Okay, I'm a naked boy singing. I'm not at a strip club.
All right, fine. I'm just looking for your next job. That's it.
I'll find it. I'll find it on my own. We're good.
I know you will. Please. Oh, and we should tell people you always are dropping new music. The last time you were here, ILY was that song, right?
Yeah, I love you.
I love you.
And I shot the video Benji Swimmer, and it's out right now.
Right.
You can stream it on all
and
digital platforms.
There's another song that you've done since then that I really liked, but I'm blanking out that you've released.
I Love You was the last single.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I just discovered something, but go check out his music. What is your website, David? Where can they find your music?
Officialdavidhernandez.com.
Okay, great. Let me bring everybody up because we got so much. Hold on. Okay, who do we got? We got Marcus.
Clark County.
There we go. Oh, Jesus.
Come on, Clark County.
And hold on, can I get Tom on? Okay, great. There you are. You're all there. Okay, so I'm going to actually show a clip from the last Naked Boy Singing show we did, and you guys can tell me what your experience has been with this. So watch the clip.
If I may say, thank God for women in the audience, because women are what kept the show going for years and years and years. And I didn't understand, because I was kind of out of the loop. I lived in LA, and I did my one-man show to Bitter and Back in Chicago, when I was sharing the stage with Naked Boys Singing. So they were doing like an early evening show, and I would do mine. So the first time I got a sense that the audience has changed was I'm waiting outside the theater, and I'm hearing all this like high-pitched cackling and shrieking and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then the doors open, and out come this like torrent of women and wearing tiaras and going like this and this and this and just yelling and screaming and laughing their asses off. And I went, oh my God, that's an amazing thing to cross over in that direction, because that has kept that show running,
Right. I had heard in New York. In New York, in particular, I know that there were a lot of bachelorette parties, Bob.
Absolutely, that's
Did
what
that
kept
happen
them
in LA?
alive.
I don't remember that happening in LA, but maybe you can know. Oh,
yeah.
So, how have your female audiences been? Louis, you were looking very eagerly at that. Have you had female audience experience?
Oh yeah, I mean, they are wild, and when they are wild, it's so much fun. They're so great.
Marcus. Go ahead, Tom. What?
Oh, during previews, his posse came and they were wild. His lady friends.
Oh well, because you are a little local celebrity, so
very true.
Marcus, have you had female audience participation?
I have. I had one lady stop me outside of the theater after the show and tell me that she was reconsidering her wedding day. So that was a nice compliment.
Matthew, Chris, overly aggressive female fans?
No, not. No, I mean, I think we have had the same experience that David Pesner was talking about. We're like, oh wow, the regular girl on the street is our best audience. It's always an easier show to do when you have women in the audience. Yeah, gay people, I think they're into it, but they also don't want to give anything away. They're just like, I have a dick too,
Right. Yeah. We had talked about that backstage when I was there, is that, as a stand-up, gays will tell you afterwards how great it was, but they don't want to show you too much.
Oh, because
it seems like it takes something away from them if they applaud you.
Yeah, literally, this is how a gay man laughs at a joke. Yes, I get it.
Right.
We like on stage. We like the women. We like when people are vocal, because then it gets us excited, and and it's more fun. But
exactly. We got our penises out. Like, cheer for us, please.
David, Hernandez, you've played to a lot of female audiences, and I've seen women lose their shit over you. So have you had that on stage doing Naked Boys Singing?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they lose their shit over me. I feel like they kind of. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. I don't know if they lose their shit over me per se, because we're all on stage together. I think they just kind of collectively lose their shit over seeing flaccid penises on stage.
Okay. Well, since you brought up flaccid penises, let's go there. This was a conversation. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh my God, Marcus.
We'll get to the show and tell portion of the show. Now, rather than
no dicks, no dicks.
I'm not going to ask such a crass question, but here's what some original cast members said about the flaccidness.
Is we open Naked Boys Singing in the winter, and
yes, I remember
cement floor. Okay, Naked Boys winter cement floor shrinkage. I got very familiar with. So, there was a lot of blow dryers in the back, and sometimes the guys would get a little too frisky.
I know, Mark, you were talking about fluffing backstage and about stuff like that. And they did keep that theater just brutally cold. And yeah, so we, I bought a penis pump,
Right.
And I know, Brian, you had the hot hair dryer, and I think one time you got too close to your peen and burned it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And they're like, places, Mr. Beacock.
Bob and I used to go backstage before the show, and the dressing room doors would be closed, and Bob would be, are you fluffing in there? What are you pumping in there? And I remember thinking, whatever's going on back here is the show back here.
That's a show.
That's the show.
So, guys, let's talk about fluffing.
Those are some good ideas. The hair dryer, the penis pump.
That's so unfortunate that cast had to do all of that, because we don't do that backstage.
You said
we just show up.
Somebody who is not African American speak to shrinkage, please.
Right? You saw the show. None of them have it. You saw the show.
Yeah, we're good.
I did see the show.
This is the best endowed cast.
I have serious shrinkage going on up there. I think when I'm like in the moment and nervous, like that's the last.
Yeah.
I look down, I'm like, oh my God, this is so.
Yeah, I will say, as a former cast member of Making Porn, I was in a scene where I was under a sheet, and a porn star was supposed to be giving me a blowjob. Well, he knew I had to get up shortly thereafter, so he'd be yanking, he'd be blowing. I'm like, look, I'm on stage. My penis is up on my spleen somewhere.
Yeah.
So it does, there's nothing sexy about being on a stage, I don't think. Does anyone feel aroused doing this show?
No.
Marcus.
No.
Not even Marcus.
Not even Marcus. I mean, Lewis gets real close to me sometimes. So, there's that, in our little window-to-window reprise. But no, I think it's such a fun and comical show that, like, sex is the last thing on your mind until you go backstage and see 4 other beautiful men. But on stage, I feel like it's just like we're doing our job.
Over the years, I've seen a couple of the window-to-window lovers begin to get aroused during the kiss. And I've had to,
the kiss ain't long enough for that.
But
I think that, so let's see what, well, Brian Beacock just texted, we fought with the house manager constantly, and we're always turning up the heat. Yeah, I guess you don't have this problem, although it is air conditioned.
It is. Comedy is cold.
Yeah, I know.
No, but I feel like Lainey is our production manager, and she takes really good care of us.
Lainey.
She keeps the temperature at a nice 72.
And I know this stuff. When I was in the show, we would get fined and suspended for fluffing.
Would you?
Wow. There was no.
Well, speaking of which, Chris and I had a moment backstage. Remember that, Chris? It was a moment backstage where things grew just a little bit. And we were like, oh God, we have to go on stage.
Good.
Shit.
You know, a little fillage is good. The other thing we haven't mentioned is there is a lot of choreography in this show. I was with you beforehand when you were working certain things out, running certain things. How hard is the choreography for you?
Musical.
It's also a small stage. I should bring that up.
So many steps and harmonies.
Oh, I'm so nervous. All those
harmonies. I'm not particularly a dancer. I think my center of gravity is a little too high to know, like, my limbs are a little too long and the stage is small. So I struggled with the choreography, and this is like my first time doing a musical ever. So just putting all of the singing and dancing and acting together, it's a lot of fun, but I did struggle with the choreography the most, I think.
Anyone else?
I had a moment, and that was it.
I think
you also have a lift,
because we learned everything at one time. We learned it so quickly.
Yeah, I agree with you, David. I think that it's like learning a play. If you learn it on your feet, it's more solidified than if you learn the play and then learn blocking. I think it's always better doing it on your feet.
I mean, they hated me.
I think
that way, but it worked.
It's only
for 3 days.
It really did work. They really put the choreo with the lyrics. It worked for sure.
I think just to give you guys a little bit and the audience a little bit of a glimpse into how the choreography came around, I just have one other clip to show. Hold on. Well, since we're talking about direction, another big part of the show is there is a lot of dancing, and we have choreographer Travis Payne is here. Hey, Travis.
Hi guys,
Travis,
how are you?
Oh my God!
I know. What?
It has been a while. So,
It's been a while.
how did you get involved with the show?
So I remember just completing Michael Jackson's history tour as a choreographer and dancer.
Well, it's the next logical step.
Well, what it was an opportunity to work in Los Angeles, you know, in the theater arena, you know, and I remember the Celebration Theater. I lived not far from it at the time and was introduced to Bob and found myself working on this production with some of my friends, Vincent Zamora, Kevin Stay, some of the guys. And we were just doing this cool musical, and the guys happened to be naked, and it was really, really great.
So you got award-winning choreography from Travis Payne. Kenny Ortega was involved originally as well. Tom, is it the original choreography?
No.
Oh, sorry.
And
you don't got any of that Michael Jackson choreography.
Well, actually, Michael Jackson and Barry Manilow and Cher have inspired almost everything I do. So you'll always find a little Michael Jackson in anything I do.
You'll find a little Michael Jackson in a lot of things.
And as you know, as a friend of the family, LaToya Jackson did star in my show musical. Always, you know, there's always Michael Jackson in any of our productions, but this is most of this is the restaging. When Michael and I took over the show in 2012, we gave it a facelift, kind of try to bring it into, you know, more modern times, and we restaged it all. And for this production, my dear friend Tiger Martina is a choreographer here and choreographed Vegas the show, right? Right? Isn't that right, Louis?
Yes.
Okay. And so I thought it'd be super fabulous if he did a restaging of The Entertainer.
Yeah, and I love, by the way, in The Entertainer, I love the tossing of the light balls, which can be so schlocky, but it was so perfectly coordinated. I have to give you credit for that, guys, especially David, obviously.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's a new addition and so fun. But the handkerchief, the scarf coming out of his crotch, you know, that was one thing. But the balls flying through the air, I enjoyed. I always enjoy a lit up ball. I do. This is the perfect kind of teasing. How can anyone resist handkerchiefs out of the crotch, balls in the air? That's a show.
That is a show. Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
It's a special talent. Okay, so I think that we really should show a clip from the show. So we've edited down clip, and there's a world premiere. You guys haven't
even seen it.
Nobody has seen it. But we'll have Bob Schrock tell us what this song is about. So
I wanted to review because I wanted a variety of songs that would address the topic of nudity that is not sexual nudity. And so that was, I didn't want to be gratuitous nudity. Whenever I would go to a show and they would say that there was going to be nudity, all I could do was I would sit there and when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And so I thought, get it over with, get it over with right away. And so, bam, they come out of the fog and sing gratuitous nudity,
Okay, so we're going to show you gratuitous nudity, but there is no nudity in this clip. That is not to say that there isn't footage out there.
You got to come to the show for that.
But you got to pay the money, right? The big bucks. But anyway, without further ado, we'll wait for Tom to take his seat because latecomers,
Hi, sorry.
God, you hate them. That's
better than the early ones.
Okay.
Hey,
anyway,
Marcus.
So here we go. This is your cast doing the opening for Naked Boys Singing. Take it away.
Tonight, you finally get what you paid for. Tonight, you will see what our bodies are made for. Tonight, get ready for something risque. Tonight, we throw inhibitions away. Why even bother to make our fuss? Why make a fuss when it's obvious? To us, you're here to see gratuitous nudity. Tonight, we show no remorse or apology. Tonight, we simply grammar doxology. Tonight, it's no wonder that we're all the rage. Tonight, we need to a bare stage. Chick-fil-A should live in fear. Just live in fear. Stick it in your rear. We're here. No crudity. Just gratuitous nudity.
My mother spent all of the money she earned on tap shoes and tights and the lessons I've learned. If she saw me today, well, what would she say? For my 10 years of tap and 6 years of ballet. Woo! Come on, word. Look, I'm grateful for all my professional gains, but now I can tell her, hey, look, Ma, no hate.
Tonight, there's an atmosphere where it's alright to stare. Tonight, you won't wonder what's under our underwear. You're straight or you're bi or transgender or queer. There's only one reason tonight that you're here. So side by side and front to ear, we will shout out loud. We're proud, no crudity. Tonight you're gonna see.
I stand before you naked. What's left of me to show? The doors and blinds are shut now. There's nowhere else to go.
I've peeled off all the layers, and what have I discovered? That being naked means much more than being just uncovered. Today I want to learn all that nakedness can be.
And I need to know that who I am isn't shameful or obscene.
For if what we seek is true, and honesty our goal, all that nakedness is just another window to the soul. tonight. It's more like Grindr on the weekend. Tonight, little Shakespeare's considered a bore. Tonight, something new and unique is in store. We love to hear our audience roar. Just hear them roar. If you yell and scream, for more you're sure to see. Oh yes, you're sure to see. Oh yes, you're sure to see. Tonight.
Good job.
Nice job, guys.
That was
I never
seen it.
I never.
How does it feel? Yeah, how does it feel? Because I assume none of you had seen yourself in this show.
No, we haven't. I never knew that Louis faced front the whole first part when we're doing this part. I never knew that you were facing front.
Oh, we're changing it today.
Well, Tom, you're the taskmaster. Tom, what do you think of it?
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. That's so nice to have, because that's one of the things with this show. You don't have a lot of souvenirs because you didn't get much footage. So that we'll cherish that, boys. I promise. 20 years.
That was the second run through for those of you wondering.
Oh.
The first run through was good. The second one was better.
No, that was great. Yeah, I love it. I love the show on that stage. I love it. I'm just in love with the space. I love it. I think it's just the most fabulous theater for the show. It's the first time we've ever done it with handheld mics, which is super cool. And, for the first time ever, you can hear everything the whole time because mics have always been such an issue. And this summer, we did a 20-year benefit concert of the show outdoors at the Crown and Anchor in Provincetown. And we realized, we have to add mics, handhelds. And it was the first time I saw, it can work. We should just always do handhelds. This works. So it's super exciting to see it there. It really does. I love it. I think they're a great cast.
Yeah, I will say, Chris, you being tall was always an issue filming it. I'm like, if he would just scooch down a little, I could get a good shot.
Yeah, I have that experience when I do film work too. They're always like, get the apple box for the other actor.
At least when you were near Matthew, I'm like, give me a fighting shot. Thank God.
Yeah.
But
my legs
enough. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Guys, so how long are you supposed to be running, Tom?
Right now we're scheduled till December 5th, but there is demand for an extension, so we're looking into that. We'll see.
Cool. And again, let's just put up the websites so that people know. nakedboysingingvegas.com. You can get tickets there. When are the shows, guys?
Wednesday time. One designated. Who wants to do it?
Go ahead, Tom. Or Marcus.
Okay. Wednesday at 9 p.m., Thursday through Sunday at 10 p.m.
And aren't there some weeks that you add a show?
Well, there's on Thanksgiving we're not doing a Thanksgiving night show, and then we're adding a Monday show the day after Halloween, so the boys can party properly on Halloween and not have a show.
Oh, good.
Hey, Christmas.
Well, and this has been so much fun. I really have to say, and I won't lie to people. It's the big thing that really surprised me about the show, having not seen it in at least 10 years, is that it holds up. It really is kind of timeless. Some of the references have been updated. We talked about that backstage. I
remember. I remember the reference.
The Kardashian question.
It was the Olsen twins.
It was the Olsen twins.
Oh, which of your Olsens? That's what the joke was.
Laugh about which Olsen twin you hate the most.
And there we are backstage.
Oh, cute.
You look so handsome, Billy.
Well, I was the one clothed. Trust me, it all worked out for the best. Guys, thank you for doing the show. This has been so much fun. It seems like I have this long history of Naked Boys singing that's never going to end. And I don't want it to. Thank you, everyone. Marcus, Louis, David, Tom, Matthew, and Chris. So I guess Jaden didn't make it. Sorry, Jaden. He's the swing. Go and see him sometime. I'm sure he's really good.
He is awesome.
And we will see you guys. I am back So the shows are every Thursday. Next Thursday, we have a panel. I'm not allowed to tell you who's going to be on it, but somebody who is also involved with Naked Boy Singing will be here. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
Guys, thank you for joining me.
Sam
Thank
Carter.
you, everybody, for watching Billy Masters Live. We will see you next Thursday. Good night. Take care. Bye.